Zooming to you live, on tape, for the last time. Maybe. You need a reopening reality check. And so here he is with his 800-phase plan, your pastor and mine, Pastor Mike Schreiner!
Hey. I just wonder, why are we still dressing up? Nobody else is dressing up. We need to put the t-shirts on, and this may be our last one. We'll get to that later, but quite honestly, I'd rather just be in my jammies right now. This week has just
Terrible.
kind of been one of those down weeks for me. Everything kind of weighing on. I mean, you've got the pandemic, the economic crisis, now the killing of George Floyd and all the riots right here in St. Louis. Former police officer, 43-year-old veteran David Dorn, killed while trying to protect a pawn shop in North County. I mean, I got to, me. We got to speak on this. I'll be talking about it this weekend in my message.
Well, yeah, you actually wrote two messages this week. You had one scheduled to go for the weekend. Obviously, it's part of the Reset message series, and that was mental health, I believe. Is that right? It was the mental part of the engine, and then this happens, and how can you not speak about that? And so you had to write an entire second message. And now let me just see if I got this right. The first one has already gone out. What was going to be on the weekend now went out kind of as your vlog, so it's already out online. It went out on Wednesday, I believe. And so if you want to stay with the message series, go watch that. And then this weekend, you've got another message series that has to do with the situation we find ourselves in, once again, dealing with race issues in our country. Yeah,
it's, I'm beat, but you got to do what you got to do right now. It's part of the job. It's what we need to be about. But I don't know about you, but mentally, emotionally, I just wish we could go back to the good old days when it was just a global pandemic and a national crisis, economically. Those were the great days, right?
Well, hopefully we don't have to go back. We're going to keep moving forward, Pastor. That's kind of what we're here to talk about. In fact, tonight we're going to be talking about the reopening plan for our church. And so you've got some information for that we'll share with the church today.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And the whole reopen thing, it's I think people are ready for that. Kind of a just-in-time deal with everything going on. I got so much feedback this past weekend from the reset on physical, because people needing some encouragement. I don't know if you saw the whole recent release. I think it was last night by the CDC. They're now recommending that we wear masks inside. Not to keep us from the COVID, actually to stop us from eating so much. Do you see that?
Oh. Well, the 19 is how many pounds we're actually supposed to gain. Isn't that COVID-19? We're supposed to gain 19 pounds.
Kind of like the freshman 15, exactly.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch this morning, they released the new average monthly budget for us here in the metro area. Gas, $0. Clothing, $0. Entertainment, $0. Grocery, $2,633. That's how much. It's all food. The fridge is full.
Well, I went to my refrigerator yesterday, and when I opened the door, it said, "What the heck do you want now?" What the heck do you want now?
Same kind of thing happened to me just this morning. Normal routine: get up, brush the teeth, and hop on the scale. And I got an error message today saying, practice social distancing, only one person on the scale at a time.
That ain't right, man.
It's not right. Hey, I don't know if you noticed, but during this quarantine, I've only done inside jokes.
But chink. All right, so if we're going there, let's go there. You want to go whole hog? I have a couple of coronavirus jokes, but the problem is you got to wait 2 weeks to see if you get it.
Yeah, in international news, Finland just closed their border, so nobody's going to be crossing the finish line anytime soon. This just in from the World Health Organization, COVID-19 cannot infect puppies. So puppies who have been quarantined are going to be released. Again, to be clear, the World Health Organization, WHO, who let the dogs out?
All right, you have been caged up way too long. Listen, you forced my hand here. I got one more for you. You know how many saying we're going to have a baby boom in 9?
This is it, last one.
All right. So I saw on the news there's supposedly going to be a baby boom in 9 months, right? Because everybody is kind of, what else do you do? So that means that in 2033, we'll have a rise in quarantines. Quarantines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
and just before that, there'll be quarantines, right? not quite as funny. We are just about to wear out our welcome on Reality Check. Before folks check out on us, we've actually got some good information to share with folks, and you're our special guest again. You started us off. You were right in the middle. You're going to close us out. You're the only member of the 3-time club, which is better than being a 2-timer, by the way. The only member of our 3-timer club. So, well,
I'm so honored. I'd like to accept this on behalf of all of my friends, family, and those who are disgusted with me at this point.
the little people. Hey, yeah, let's jump in, Keith. Hey, we did a survey. We surveyed the competition, and we honestly, big thanks to all of you out there who took a few minutes to do the survey. We had more people do this survey than any survey that we've done, almost 450 people, and we found out a few things, right?
Yep, we sure did. In fact, we've got some screenshots. We're going to put those up just to kind of share some results. If that's all right with you, we'll just start putting them up on the screen and sharing them. Is that okay?
Good. Let's do it.
All right, boys, put that first one up. We asked folks about their engagement with all the things that we've been doing at night during our primetime segments. Based on the feedback, we're making a couple of changes. So starting next week, kids are going to be moved from Monday night to the weekend. We're going to keep prayer on Tuesday nights, Mike's video blog on Wednesday, and CR, Celebrate Recovery, on Thursday. And as you said, this will be our last Friday night reality check.
But the cool thing is, even though it's our last Friday night episode, we're going to go back to the real reality check, extended play version. Remember last year we did the reality check message series, and we have one planned for this year. We actually moved it up because we feel like it is so relevant to where we are right now. We're going to be bringing in some great experts, people from the mental health field. They're going to be talking to us about, I think we're starting off with grief. Then we go to screen time, which has totally been changed and blown up because of this. I mean, everything, like us, on a screen right now. We're going to go from there to anxiety, depression, and suicide, kind of try to tackle all those in one message. And we're going to end with a message on security that we're all kind of struggling with, right? What's next? And so I think that mental health reality check series is going to be, it's going to be really strong, and I'm excited about sharing that with folks. So those are the primetime changes and what we have for reality check. What about folks getting back on campus? What did the survey tell us there, Keith?
Great. Yeah. In fact, we've got another screenshot. We're going to ask the boys to put that up for us. This is a lot of information, and it may be hard for you all to see, but we're going to be putting out the results of the whole survey. It's going to be available for everybody to see. It'll be on our social media soon, and we'll be putting it up on the website sometime after that. Basically, this is just telling us that 25% of us feel comfortable gathering in groups of more than 200 right now. But most people indicated that they just really aren't sure about when they'll feel comfortable coming back into kind of a social gathering situation.
We also asked folks to tell us a little bit about, the most important factor affecting their decision about when they were going to feel comfortable making a return to campus. What did the results show?
Yeah, that'd be screenshot 3, guys, if you'll put that up there. Basically, about 77% of our folks said that they had a concern about coming back, and that confirmed a lot of what we've already been thinking.
It's one thing to go to a restaurant and sit outside, or it's another thing to go to the grocery store, but it's a completely different thing, they say, to gather for worship. Just the singing. I heard somebody on NPR the other day say that singing was more potentially dangerous than full contact sports these days because crazy, right? So, hey, thanks for sharing the results there. Here's how we see this playing out. We've kind of tried to narrow it down. We've reduced our plan to 4 phases, and here's how we see Morning Star Church reopening. The first phase is going to be Celebrate Recovery worship on Thursday night. And I hear a bunch of people out there going, Celebrate Recovery, worship only, no meal, no groups or anything like that. Worship only. It's going to have to be limited to 25% of capacity in the auditoriums. That's right at about 150 registered folks. We're going to have a process for signing up for that and registering. But we feel like, that is a community that really is probably more vulnerable than our weekend community for the crossover. The other thing I'd tell you is, hey, if you need to be in worship, Celebrate Recovery is not limited to people who've already been to Celebrate Recovery. So anybody can come to the worship service, CR, on Thursday at 7. Phase 2 is going to be opening to groups and classes. Which groups and classes? Hopefully all of them. It's going to actually depend on how many people can be in each room, each group or class, based on the size of the room they're in. Again, we're having to go on about a 25% capacity right now to be able to keep the CDC guidelines. So we will be, when we release phase 2, we'll give very detailed instructions as to the size, the registrants for each one of those classes and groups. Important note on that, we will not be able to have a class or group that requires childcare. No childcare will be available in either of these 2 phases, at CR or classes or groups. Phase 3 will be that we will reopen for weekend worship. However, again, no children's ministry at that point, no nursery. We will probably, we're thinking right now, we'll have as many people as we possibly can, according to the guidelines at that point, in the auditorium. Then potentially in the venue, we'll have families, and we'll have basically a service planned for kids that they can view on a phone or a tablet, something like that, while adults are able to participate in the service that's going on live in the auditorium. And then phase 4 will be reopening of everything, including nursery, children's ministry, all kinds of activities that have childcare involved. And that's kind of how we see it, folks. Again, overview, CR worship, groups and classes, weekend worship, and then everything, children's ministry, nursery, everything. Three quick comments before we go. First, we're not putting any dates on anything right now. We hope that as soon as maybe in the next week, we'll have a date for phase 1, Celebrate Recovery, to be able to announce that to you. But we haven't, put any dates on anything right now. That'll be coming out as soon as possible. Second of all, if something significant happens and we feel like it's safe to do so, we could we could skip over a step. I mean, we could go from step 1, phase 1 to phase 3, or phase 2 to phase 4, if we feel that we've received information that makes it safe. Third, when we release the date of each phase, we're going to be giving particular instructions with that phase. So like with the release of the date of CR opening, then we'll give instructions on here's what you need to do in terms of going online to register. Here's what, we're going to recommend or require, whatever, about a mask and all those kind of details. When we release the date, we'll give the specifics about those. So we don't want to do that now because you never know what may change. Everything is kind of evolving kind of day to day, right? We're kind of writing in water, I heard someone say. It kind of makes a lot of sense. So.
Well, a lot to think about. And Pastor, I know that the executive team has spent countless hours, no fooling, just talking about all the details here. Ultimately, we are putting people back in a building and we're responsible. And so I ask for grace and mercy from our congregation because, both sides, we're hearing both sides. We want to get back. We're afraid to go back. And we're trying to do what's best, but ultimately, we're the pastors. We're responsible for what happens to all of our people. We love you. We want to take care of you. And if something should happen, that would be on us. And you may say, no, that'd be on you. Well, I don't know about what you think, but I know Pastor Mike and I would take that very personally, that would be on us. And can I just tell you something? They never taught a class on this in seminary. Now, I skipped a lot of classes, but I double checked with you. You didn't get this in seminary, did you? Okay, I didn't either. And so we're doing the best we can.
They didn't even give us an assembly on this kind of stuff. Global Pandemic 101. Now, hey, thanks for that word, Keith. I hope folks realize why we do what we do. We all want to be back in worship. Nobody wants to be back in worship more than Pastor Keith and I do. But we're going to do it in the most informed way that we possibly can to provide a safe environment for everyone. So listen, hey, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. As a reminder, we're going to put up the results of the survey as well as the phase plan on social media very soon, and then on the website as soon as possible. Be looking for that. But you got the inside look because you showed up tonight on Reality Check. Thanks for joining us, everybody. God bless you.